bOX.
Welcome to another episode of the Popcorn Confessional. And on this episode, we are going to be talking about Stillwater. So fire up that Jiffy Pop and meet us in the booth.
Oil rig worker Bill Baker, played by Matt Damon, travels to Marseille, France.
Wait. You gotta say Matt Damon.
No, I'm not saying that. Okay. Anyway, he travels to Marseille, France to visit his estranged daughter, Allison. Allison has been in prison for 5 years, claiming to be wrongfully convicted in the murder of her girlfriend. While in prison, she comes across the name of a guy who she says is the murderer and bragged about killing another girl. So she asks her father for help in reopening her case.
However, her defense attorney refuses to reopen the case, and Bill has to take matters into his own hands in search of the murderer. Only thing is, he's a redneck from Oklahoma, and he has to deal with language barriers, cultural differences, and a complicated legal system. What did you think of this one?
There was a time during the movie where I forgot what was going on in the movie.
Was that about 45 minutes in?
Yeah, I completely forgot because in the beginning we focused on the fact that he was like this oil rig worker who's now in construction. His daughter's in prison in France, and then it was just kind of all about his life and what a fuck up he was, and his day to day, like going to work and coming home, and I kind of forgot that his daughter was in prison, and that was what it was supposed to be about.
Well, I think that served as a hook. Do you think so? Because the movie begins, and Matt Damon, he's a decent actor. I don't really find him believable as a redneck.
Yeah, that was a little hard.
Yeah,
he looks kind of funny in those clothes, like it didn't fit.
The accent, I guess, sort of worked. But it was a movie, and it was just kind of playing along, I think. And then you have that switch in storytelling, where you're like, what kind of movie am I watching?
Mm-hmm.
I thought I went from a drama to a romantic comedy.
Yeah.
So that serves as a hook, right? I think for me, right, if you didn't have that portion of the movie where, Bill Baker, he's looking to search for the murderer, and he has no clue on how to communicate with people, so he befriends somebody in France who becomes his interpreter, and that's where the story kind of starts to revolve around their two relationship and how it kind of develops. How he communicates with people, how she helps him communicate, and the budding friendship that happens between them. And it so happens that the girl has a daughter as well, a very young daughter, probably, I would say, stole the entire movie.
Oh, yeah. She was
Maya,
absolutely adorable. She was funny, charismatic. She was a smart ass. She was so cute.
Yeah, I'll tell you this, like when we first seen her on the screen, I think she just kind of brightened the whole movie up.
Yeah.
From the moment she appeared on screen, it was like, oh man, she's got charisma.
Yeah.
So she kind of stole the movie, I think, a lot.
Because for obvious reasons, this movie can be really dark in certain areas, so it was nice to have that little ray of sunshine, I think.
Mm-hmm. So the tension breaker in this is, we have this serious topic, supposedly inspired by true events, not really.
It's loosely inspired by the Amanda Knox story.
And so we have the story here. It's all serious in the beginning, and then it makes a switch, and the story kind of takes a little bit of a backseat so that we can see how Bill's life is progressing in France while he's doing an investigation and looking for this, and how his life is kind of starting to change because he has this guilt for for, his relationship with his daughter and how it's turned out. So now it's almost like, hey, I have a second chance. I haven't forgotten about my daughter, but I have the second chance. And it almost felt like it went from a drama to sort of a romantic comedy. So I was like, was this supposed to be a drama? But again, like I said, it serves as a hook because there's events that happen afterwards that it's like, what did you do? And if you didn't have that middle part in this movie, I would have gave two shits about the end of the movie. I wouldn't have cared, how it progressed with his character and the stuff that he did towards the end of the movie because I wasn't feeling it. I wasn't attached to any of the characters other than the little girl. I thought she was cute and that was it.
Yeah.
But, that's what I felt about the middle of it.
I think it's worth noting, too, when you mention how it was really hard for him to communicate being in a foreign country and he's from, Oklahoma.
Oklahoma!
I think it's also worth noting that even when he's speaking English with English-speaking people, he has trouble with communication.
Like me.
It's kind of always been an issue for him, I think, throughout his life, which is one of the reasons he's estranged from his daughter.
Yeah, and they go into that in the film.
Yeah.
We won't talk about that.
Who, by the way, has been in France for 5 years, but was from Oklahoma, and she didn't have any sort of accent. Did you notice that?
No, but she spoke really good French.
She did, but I think she's played by Abigail Breslin, and if I'm not mistaken, I believe she can speak French.
Yeah. Well, she sounded pretty fluent, but she looked like she was smart in the movie, too. So this movie here, it's a bit of a roller coaster. Start off as a drama. It doesn't really pull you in until we kind of switch the style and the storytelling and the characters and how they play out. And then it switches again, which for me, I think the ending fell flat.
Yeah, I just think they could have done more with that ending. Obviously, we're not going to tell you what the ending is. We're not going to give it away. But when you watch it, I think you'll understand. The ending really was like, it was just disappointing. It didn't have any real feeling or emotion to it. It could have been so much more than what it was.
Yeah, I think the movie it's down here and it starts bringing you in and it hooks you in and then it just kind of peters out.
Yeah.
Now, what's your rating on it?
So I'm going to give it a C, mostly for Maya. I think she was able to hold the movie together even when it was falling apart in some parts, just because she was just really good. She was so cute. And she was super funny. I liked watching her on screen.
I'm giving it a B-. Yeah, B-. For once I'm higher than you. And the reason... Now, it's a B- because I thought the middle part of the movie really made up for a lot of it, and it was really entertaining. Acting wasn't so good across the board for the type of talent that was in the film.
I think it was hard, being that most of the actors were foreigners. And I just think that you could just really see the miscommunication and how hard it was to communicate, and that was frustrating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I think, like I said, B-. The middle part of the movie really hooked me in. I was really, invested at that point, and then I was kind of let down at the end. Mm-hmm. But not every movie is going to have a happy ending, or it's going to have an ending that's happy for you, because I sometimes want realistic endings, and I think that's what we got on this one. Yeah. It just kind of felt a little lackluster.
Yeah, that's what it was. Not that it wasn't an ending you could have had in this type of movie or in real life, per se. I just felt like they could have put more oomph into it.
Yeah, it was set up for it. They just didn't knock the pins down.
Definitely.
Anyway.
Especially because the movie was over 2 hours. So they really, it was almost 2 hours and 20 minutes. Wow. I mean, they really could have,
It didn't feel like 2 hours and 20 minutes, so that's always a plus in my book.
Yeah, it didn't. But I think they spent too much time on Matt Damon's personal life in the movie.
If you take that out, the movie is a D.
No, I think they spent too much time on it.
That's what I'm saying. If you take that out, I think the movie's a D.
I mean, I don't think that we need to see him, making breakfast and lunch and dinner, over and over again.
You're humanizing the character that was stiff as a board in the beginning of the movie. my take. He was dull.
I find Matt Damon pretty stiff and dull in most movies. It's just the way he is.
No, well then, he was really boring in this one. So
even in the Ocean's movies, he was very like...
I think we're watching an Ocean's movie after
He
this.
wasn't the big actor in those movies.
He wasn't stiff.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he wasn't like the other guys. He was their patsy.
Later.
Anyway, tell us what you think about this movie. If you've seen it, if you're going to wait to stream it. When you see this movie here, it may remind you of another movie, which if I were to compare it to, it kind of gives it away. So, I always like to say, oh, if you like this movie and you like this movie, then you'll like this movie. I can't do that, because as soon as I say the word in which the other movie is titled after, you're gonna know what happens in this movie, so I cannot say it. So when you see it, let us know what you think. Let us know if you pick up on the movie that I'm talking about. And what are you going to see in the theaters? Are you going to the theaters at all? Do you feel safe? I know things are getting crazy again. Let us know. You know, it's crazy time, so we're here to entertain you guys, and we'll try to go to the theaters as long as they stay open this time.
And even if they don't stay open, we do try to watch movies that are new to us on Tuesdays at home, as we did for, 6 months during lockdown? We tried to watch movies that were new to us, that we hadn't seen. So, obviously, if we lock down again, that would be a great time for your suggestions on movies that perhaps we haven't seen.
And we'll be doing a little bonus starting in the fall. We're going to be doing a 31 Days of Halloween. So we're going to go through, this will be the only time we really review movies that are not in the theaters. So we'll go through and find some gems that people may have missed, and we'll share our thoughts on them. We won't rate them, because we want you to watch them and enjoy them for the Halloween season. So until the next time, don't forget to like this video. If you think we can do something better, drop it in the comments too. We ain't going to take any offense to it. Subscribe to this channel, and it's really easy. It takes that long. Click. Hit the little notification bell so that you know when we have more reviews coming out, when we have interviews coming out with celebrities and independent people in the movie scene, and for more 5 things. So until the next time, see ya.